Today we're going to do, sometimes I say, today we're going to do something fun. Hopefully it's always fun. Maybe sometimes it's not so fun. I always love it when things that, it's sort of like when research does like common sense sort of things. Um, and sometimes to me, it's funny that like you've got to do research to figure it out. Maybe not necessarily figure it out, but I do believe that like some people will do something only if the research shows that it has benefit. For instance, well, what does the research show? Oh, the research shows that. Oh, okay, then I'll do it. Where there's a big group of us that like, it's like now they're studying. It's like let's study everything we do that we enjoy doing and see how it affects us, and then we publish that and make it a big deal, right? So it's like, let's scan your brain as you're gardening and find out what areas of your brain are activated when you garden, and show that it's, similar to deep states of meditators and people who have meditated for 20 years, and it's the same areas of the brain that are activated. Um, and you have a greater sense of well-being, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Right? It's like, oh, let's study what happens in the brain when you're showing loving kindness to a human, animal, or nature, and then but that's what we do. That's that's what we do, and we have fun doing it, and that's why I have fun, because I get to read the research and also get to read the commentary on the research and get to share it with you. Uh, and you may have heard this, but now they're looking at singing Christmas carols, and December 20th, since it is December 20th, maybe you sing your own holiday music if you don't celebrate Christmas. Or you don't sing, but maybe you sing in a choir, or you sing by yourself to yourself. So here's the topic. So I was raised. My mother was Jewish. My father is Catholic. So I was raised with both a menorah and a Christmas tree. And we celebrated both, which from a child perspective means that you get 8 gifts for Hanukkah, and then you also celebrate Christmas, because that's the only thing that I really was being taught. Um, and I love Christmas carols. So I love Christmas carols. Right. And I'm like that, like when they make fun of people, it's like when Halloween, or like when October 1st comes around, I'm actually starting to play Christmas carols. I'm like that person. I know it can be really annoying. And it's like, God, get rid of this music. It's okay. I am that person. I hate to say it. But I also love it because um, I gotta, when I was young and I was learning a musical instrument, learning like Jingle Bells was fun. Learning Deck the Halls was fun. Learning, you know, uh, any of the Christmas carols, Silent Night, and you name it, was fun. It was actually fun. And we had a holiday recital, and it was just fun to get together. There's a lot of treats. You got to perform in front of people. Get nervous as a 7 or 8 year old. Playing the piano in front of people. Anyways, and now my son is learning the piano, and I still go back to Christmas carols, and I still go back to holiday music to play, because it's well, in my opinion, it's beautiful. It's catchy. And usually people know the words of it. So if you do it fairly well, if you have a melody down fairly well, you might actually notice somebody in your household start singing. Um, so I love Christmas carols. I play them even when it's not the holidays. Um, I love festive music, whatever that whatever it may be. So, anyways, so there's an article published, and they research, and so we'll kind of go through some of the articles. But singing Christmas carols together, more than just tradition, it's also good for you. So I would say that like anything that you enjoy doing, except um, drugs and alcohol, or is probably good for you. Like gardening, going on a walk, talking with friends, things that you enjoy doing, reading books, doing crossword puzzles, stuff like that. Except for maybe like playing perpetual video games and watching TV. Stuff that has some sort of activity behind it, where there's an active participation in it from your part, um, is probably good for you for some from some perspective. And so this is actually singing Christmas carols together, more than just tradition. It's also good for you. And I didn't know this. On a December night 50 years ago, Eastern Airlines flight 401 crashed in the Everglades, Florida. Miraculously, 77 people survived the initial impact, but then endured a traumatic wait for rescue in the alligator-infested swamp surrounded by wreckage and jet fuel. To lift their spirits, they sang Christmas carols. Can you imagine 77 people in the Everglades with like alligators coming at you? You just survived a crash and you're waiting. It's just swampy and murky and cold or hot or warm or gross or anything, right? And you're waiting, and in order to pass the time, you sing Christmas carols. Now just imagine 77 people who survived a crash singing Christmas carols together. What drove these survivors to sing is in such distressing conditions? Just think of the person who's like, "Hey, guys, we don't have anything else to do, so why don't we sing Christmas carols?" Let me off. Which one do you know? You lead it. You lead the first one. I'll take the second one. Right? Everybody's singing. You have a choir that's in the middle of the Everglades after a crash. What drove these survivors to sing in such distressing conditions? What is it about group singing that has the remarkable ability to bring people together, express deep emotions, and feel connected with each other? It's no coincidence that shared moments in life are often accompanied by singing together. As a leisure activity, group singing engages many beneficial biological, psychological, behavioral, and social processes. For example, when we sing, we consciously manage our breathing, unlike when we speak or are at rest. Managing our breathing during singing affects heart rate variability, which you all should be experts on. And research demonstrates group singing can synchronize singers' heartbeats and breathing patterns. To borrow a line from a well-known song, when we sing in a group, it is if our hearts, they beat as one. How beautiful is that? Here's the published in 2011, cardiac and respiratory patterns synchronized between persons during choir singing. Respiratory patterns and your cardiac patterns. So imagine, right? Since you are experts, I'm going to put the PDF of the original research article in the chat if you want to look at it. What is managing our heartbeats? Well, our breathing pattern. And so if we're singing together and we're singing the same words, it's likely that we're going to have similar breathing patterns. And then what happens is our heart rates will actually start to synchronize together. That's pretty neat. What's neat about that, we may have talked about this in the past, maybe not, but if we haven't, maybe our first topic for 2023 is that when our heartbeats synchronize, that there seems to be a relational effect between people when our heartbeats and breathing patterns synchronize, that we still haven't figured out research based, but we may feel it. Might be the kind of like that sixth sense, felt sense. I'm really having a good connection with that person. They've done studies where, for instance, they've hooked people's heart rates and breathing patterns up to machines. For instance, maybe we'll pull out this study for 2023, where when a psychologist or psychiatrist is with a client or patient, when there is an aha moment by the patient, like an insight, what they've found is that when there are those moments of insights or aha or deep healing that occurs in a therapeutic setting, that the heart rates are actually synchronized between the therapist and the patient. So there's a lot on the heart. Maybe that'll be a beautiful entry into 2023, the electromagnetic resonance of the heart, the felt sense of the heart. But there's something there in terms of when the heart's beating, this electromagnetic field is created, and we start to have like a relational, some sort of relational field that's created. All right, so cardiac and respiratory patterns synchronize between persons during choir singing. That's cool, right? The physiological synchronization may partly explain some of the positive subjective effects of group singing, such as bonding, social connection. There you go. So when our heartbeats are synchronizing, okay, that there seems to be this energetic connection that leads to bonding, social connection. Singing together also increases the feel-good hormone oxytocin and improves mood, helping us to bond with our fellow singers as we perform healthy relationships. That's cool, right? Here's the article on that one. This one was published in October 25th, 2021. Changes in mood, oxytocin, and cortisol following group and individual singing. What did they find? The study uncovered several important findings. Group singing elevated mood. Importantly, although both group and individual singing led to decreases in cortisol, so decreases in cortisol, decreases in stress hormone. So if you sing, you have actually changing your endocrine system, ladies and gentlemen. How cool is that? Right? You're actually changing your physiology. You know what? I'm going to go sing a Christmas carol. I feel stressed. Let me go sing a Christmas carol. I don't have to do anything with the stress. I just go sing. Okay. Although both group and individual singing led to decreases in cortisol, only group singing led to increases in oxytocin. Further analyses revealed that oxytocin significantly correlated with mood. These findings suggest that the mood-boosting effect of singing is likely due to social aspects and is influenced by changes in oxytocin. Oxytocin, for those who don't know, here's the second article, published in 2021. Group singing, right? Hey, let's sing together. There's that bond. Oxytocin, people call it like the feel-good hormone, the love hormone, the bonding hormone, right? It's expressed when you are when you're doing something that you enjoy. It's very much expressed. Most of the studies are done in child maternal and paternal bonding. For instance, releasing of oxytocin during breastfeeding or holding your child with both the child and the parent. Now they recommend dads, do the bonding, skin to skin bonding with their kids, to release oxytocin in the father as well. Usually, of course, the mother breastfeeding, if they can, gets the majority of the oxytocin. But now they're seeing that the dad or the father figure can also release. And what is that like? What a great survival technique, right? Baby wants to survive. Here, hands it to a person. You start releasing like a love hormone that helps bond you to the baby. Right now, you're going to take care of this thing that cries and poops and does nothing else. There's an there's an evolutionary advantage to bonding. Right? I didn't want this kid, and then all of a sudden it's you're bonding over the oxytocin. You're like, oh wow, and these neurochemicals are happening in your brain. They've looked at oxytocin to be able to help increase neuroplasticity. So increase the ability of your brain to be plastic and malleable. We are now using oral oxytocin for some people, actually giving it in a salve that they keep in their mouth to increase oxytocin to help increase neuroplasticity. All right, so group singing elevates mood, oxytocin, decrease cortisol. Wow, how cool is that? All right. Group singing also has psychosocial benefits for people living with a range of health conditions. Such benefits include building resiliency, enhancing mood, creating a sense of belonging and purpose, improving quality of life, and promoting flourishing and well-being. Research shows that group singing can improve individual and social well-being for people with Parkinson's and their caregivers, mothers with postnatal depression, and people living with cancer, to name just a few examples. While many of us think of singing as a performance, these studies suggest that singing is a feel-good activity available to anyone willing to try it. Thought of in this way, singing is no longer about sounding good, but becomes a widely available and easily accessible tool for building well-being and belonging. True story. When I went to when I went to med school, I tried out for the choir, and I'd never sang anything in my life before. And they had me come try out, and they had me like, okay, sing this note. I'd be like, huh? Like, I'm gonna play something on the piano. Can you mimic it? I'm gonna play it on the piano, and then can you mimic it with your voice? And I did the best I could. I was not invited back to the second. All right, the origins of caroling. I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounds good. The Christmas tradition of singing together to feel uplifted has existed for centuries. There's an English historian traced the origins of caroling to the followers of Saint Francis of Assisi in the 15th century. Prompted by a need to raise spirits during long winter months, these friars sang the first Christmas carols while holding hands and dancing in a circle. Doesn't that sound marvelous? It's cold outside. What are we going to do? Let's hold hands and sing and dance in a circle. The spread of carols expanded during the Reformation in the 16th century with the replacement of Latin text in church music with language spoken by everyday people. This helped bring carols into church services, allowing everybody to join in congregational singing. My father lives in London, and I went to go visit him one winter, and he took me to the church, and everybody was singing these carols. It was divine. It was so beautiful, and it's not, to me, it's not like religious in any way. In the 20th century, community carol singing took yet another form that led to one of Australia's favorite Christmas traditions. While walking home on Christmas Eve in 1937, the radio announcement, Norman Banks saw an elderly woman through a window. She sat alone in candlelight, singing with her radio to Away in a Manger. It inspired him to create the first carols by candlelight to help lonely people share in the joy of Christmas time. By 1938, 10,000 people gathered for the inaugural celebration. Since then, community carol singing events have expanded across Australia and involved some of the notable Australian vocalists. And then they talk about singing, etc., etc. They looked at face-to-face over Zoom. It has the same effects. Zoom has the same effects. Okay, a wide range of well-being measures was used. A wide range of activities was reported, most commonly music listening and regular group singing. Music has been associated with reduced anxiety in young adults, enhanced mood and purpose in adults and mental well-being, quality of life, self-awareness, and coping in people with diagnosed health condition. Music and singing have been shown to be effective in enhancing morale and reducing risk of depression in older people. Here's that study if you want it. What works for well-being? A systematic review of well-being outcomes for music and singing. Music and singing. That's that one there if you want it. That one's published in 2017. And this one has 19,000 views. For a research article, that's pretty good. Published September 2021. How do music activities affect health and well-being? A scoping review of studies examining psychosocial mechanisms. Receptive and intentional music listening were found to reduce pain through changes in physiological arousal in some studies, but not others. Shared music listening, such as concert or radio programs, enhanced social connections and mood in older adults and in hospital patients. Music listening and care singing decreased agitation and improved posture, movement, and well-being of people with dementia. Group singing supported cognitive health and well-being of older adults and those with mental health problems, lung disease, stroke, and dementia through its effect on cognitive functions, mood, and social connections. Playing a musical instrument was associated with improved cognitive health and well-being in school students, older adults, and people with mild brain injury via effects on motor, cognitive, and social processes in the brain. Dance and movement with music programs were associated with improved health and well-being in people with dementia, women with postnatal depression, and sedentary women with obesity through various cognitive, physical, and social processes. Rapping, songwriting, and composition help the well-being of marginalized people through effects on social and cultural inclusion and connection, self-esteem, and empowerment. Wow! Are you kidding me? That's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot. If there was I say this a lot. but I mean it seriously. If there was a drug that did all that, we'd all be taking it. I guarantee you, we'd all be on it, and insurance probably wouldn't cover it. All right, it's called singing. It's called singing, caroling, whatever it is. Even seems like listening to the radio together, right? Like a radio program. Increasing mood, social bonding, connection, cognitive functioning in the brain. All right. Who doesn't want a little bit of oxytocin being released, right? Now, right, the point of this is relationship building, right? We do this in a group. Like we are building this group. We are building this mindfulness program. The relationships that have been built through this helps that group bonding, right? But even listening to music, singing together, turning on the radio. Can't you imagine, right? I mean, I listen to the radio in the car, but one of those like AM FM radios where you're trying to get the tune and then you come in, right? And you're sitting there with like your whole family and you're looking for like the song to come on and you have to wait because you can't press play and just have it play, right? We didn't have tape recorders and CD, it's like you had to wait. And then when it came on, it was like the whole fan and you're all listening together and then you look at each, what a song. Right. Listening to concert. Jared said, that's why I go to live concerts often, small size clubs and the occasional area show. It's my primary recreational outlet. So relevant when reflecting on crowd receptivity and feedback. Yeah, right. Social bond. What is happening in the group? How are you looking across the room and connecting? Right? Even just a smile. Right? Wow, isn't this great? And then, right, what do we do in the practice of mindfulness? This is why I love this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Because when you're listening to that, right, and you get this sense, right? You get this emotion or uprising of something. Right? And maybe it's like, maybe tears want to come to your eyes because it's so beautiful. Or some aspect of joy, right? Or maybe grief. Maybe you miss some. Maybe the song brings you into grief and you're missing this person, but just allowing it to be, allowing it to flow mindfully, allowing that oxytocin to be released. Who's there with you? Can there be a relational aspect to this? If there's nobody there with you, maybe it's nature. Looking up the sky and the stars and the universe and connecting with a grander sense of self. Right? And the music helps us do that because the music, what we're listening to, and it's all tied in, right? What we're listening to is present moment. If we're singing and engaging in that in a group, two, right? Two. And so, right, as we go into the holiday season, even though I've been playing Christmas carols since October, as we go into the holiday season and people are playing music, or you might have carolers come by your home, maybe this will kind of shift a bit of perspective in terms of, wow, maybe I just allow the oxytocin to flow and the mood and the connection and recognizing that we're all here together, right? We're all experiencing this, whatever this is. And so to just sort of open up, and even if you're sitting with a friend, it's like, hey, you want to listen to some music together and sing along? All right. So let's go into our practice. And if you want to bring another person on or play some music while you're, if there's other people in the room that are doing the practice with you, feel free. Do what you feel is authentic for you. Okay. All right. So let's find a comfortable posture. A posture you will feel relaxed yet alert. Closing your eyes if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. If not, having a soft downward gaze. Just taking 2 or 3 deep breaths and allowing yourself to be here for this practice today. And as you breathe in, being aware that you are breathing in. And as you breathe out, being aware that you are breathing out. As you breathe in, being aware that you are breathing in. And as you breathe out, being aware that you are breathing out. And for this practice, bringing a tune to mind that makes you feel happy. Setting a certain intention. Maybe the tune is associated with good memories, fun times, whatever it might be. And if you want, you can hum the tune or sing the tune to yourself. Or you can play the tune on your phone or stereo system or computer. If you're with somebody else, playing a tune together, listening to the sound of the music and singing along. See if you can sing along or hum. Humming like you're playing the kazoo. Like there's an active part of you that's participating in this from a mindful perspective. And as you notice any body sensations or thoughts or feelings or even self-judgments, I'm not doing it right, I don't have the right chord, I don't have the right note, whatever it might be, we just let them go. Just let them go. We notice the sensations as they appear, the expansions, the contractions, the discomforts. And we continue singing or humming our tune. And as you're humming or singing, listening to yourself or your friend or partner that's singing too. And if you don't have somebody immediately close to you, then know that there's 12 other participants on this call. And we're all singing, we're all humming to ourselves. And I sense the joy emanating. Whatever movement your body feels to make, be free. If you feel like dancing or rocking from side to side, if you feel like moving your arms like you're conducting a symphony, whatever spontaneously emerges in the moment, go with the flow. Being fully mindful of the present moment as it's emerging, as you're singing or humming or listening to your music. Allowing each moment to be just as it is. And if you've finished your first song, going on to your next, or repeating the same tune. If there's no tune in particular that comes to mind, making up your own tune. Listening to yourself, singing or humming. Noticing any felt sense in the body arise, an expansion or contraction. Notice it as pure sensation, allowing it to be just as it is. Come back to your singing. And now coming back to your breath, breathing in and out. As you breathe in, knowing you are breathing in. As you are breathing out, knowing you are breathing out. Being present in this moment. Each moment, each moment, each moment. And as we bring this meditation to a close today, reflecting on your practice, just noticing how you feel. Opening your eyes if your eyes were closed. Reorienting yourself to your mood and surroundings. And just taking a moment to be.